Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So 2024 is off to a very strong start. A lot of people are currently talking about an anime that is premiering, and they're doing this because that series is incredibly lewd and filled with tons of fan service, and it's brought up a conversation about weirdness in anime. Is anime too weird? Is anime not weird enough? Well, we'll talk about that in just a moment, but before we do that, let's talk about gatekeeping. Gatekeeping your hobbies is a very important thing to do, and that includes anime. And a lot of people have a misconception of what gatekeeping is. They think of the most extreme examples. So, like, if someone wants to try out manga for the first time, some people think gatekeeping is like that person walking into the manga shop, and as they reach for their first copy ever, some weeaboo comes darting from the corner and tackles them and drags them out of the store and says, "You don't belong in this community." That's not what gatekeeping is. Gatekeeping is making sure people don't invade your hobby space and do so with bad intentions and try to change things for the worse. And if you want proof of gatekeeping not working, at least with anime, look at Twitter. Look at the way anime is talked about on Twitter. There are so many tourists and bad actors on Twitter, and their behavior is completely normalized because people didn't gatekeep hard enough. You have people who have seen two anime, typically just shown in anime, who think they speak on behalf of the anime community. Instead of just consuming the stuff that they like, they spend more time focusing on things they don't like. So if they have a series they think is weird or problematic, they want to go out and berate and harass anyone who shows the slightest interest in it. And they want to censor things. And really, all this boils down to control. They're a bunch of control freaks, and they want to control a space that they already have very little investment in. Those are the people you need to gatekeep out of anime. Now, the beauty of anime is that often its content gatekeeps itself because it's very weird. And a lot of people see that and it just naturally keeps them away. And when you see really ecchi series or really out there different ones, they tend to gatekeep themselves. And this is an example right here. So everyone's talking about this anime called Gushing Over Magical Girls. You can guess it gets quite lewd. But as this little header here points out, this is not just an uncensored story. This is one where it's even more lewd than the manga it's based on. It's actually a lot like Interspecies Reviewers, where you have a very lewd manga series, but somehow the anime goes even beyond that. Now let's read about this anime just a little bit to get a little sense of what it's all about, and then we'll look at some tweets about it. So this article starts off saying, the Gushing Over Magical Girls anime had fans excited ever since it was announced last year, and worries that it would be toned down or censored appear to be unfounded as the anime is even more risque than the manga. We can't link directly to more explicit scenes in the anime, but to give you an example, a scene where the main protagonist makes her magical villainous transformation, she's completely topless and uncensored. Meanwhile, the manga makes use of the typical bubbles and flesh-colored silhouettes to preserve her modesty. Yes, they are actually going beyond the manga. They're removing the censorship from the manga and showing it all off, all the anime biddies you could ever want in the anime. And this is causing quite the reaction. But a lot of people are showing these screenshots on Twitter, and this uncensored version of Gushing Over Magical Girls is available on ATX, as well as High Dive, who is definitely increasing their reputation as a place that will not censor these sorts of things, unlike Funimation, who, going back to our previous example, pulled the plug on Interspecies Reviewers after people were crying on Twitter about the fan service. But this is the tweet we're going to spend the rest of the video talking about. It was made by Chibi Reviews. I'm sure a lot of you know him and his anime-related content. He made this tweet with a video from Gushing Over Magical Girls, and it's captioned, "This is why people think anime is weird." Now, this is an unfortunate situation because people are taking this message and running with it without understanding the intent. Because if you know Chibi Reviews, you know that he doesn't think it's bad that anime is weird. He is not attacking this show. In fact, he will later clarify that he's celebrating the weirdness of this show. But people who didn't know who he was were going out and clapping back at his message saying, "Cold posters on their way to quote tweet about this anime being garbage for having fan service." But he would clarify in a later tweet saying, "And the tweet has left the targeted audience. People think I hate the show." And I'm pretty sure he made a follow-up video yesterday going through and talking about how he likes the show, and he likes the fact that it's weird. It's good that the show is weird, and people are just misinterpreting what he was saying. But some of the quotes, despite that, are very interesting to look at and raise some interesting conversations. So we're going to move on to those. Just wanted to make sure everyone understood his intent here. He's not flaming the show, he's actually praising it. But here's some people asking, what anime is this? Asking for a friend. This person saying something similar, saying, that's disgusting. What's the name of this anime so I know to avoid it? Now, this is a joke. Obviously, they have no problem with the show. But this is a very real thing where people on Twitter, through their words, through their tweets, are very Puritan-like, okay? They attack anything that has sexual content. Let's say fan service in anime, for example, right? They'll condemn it and act like it's the worst thing ever, but in private, they're degenerates. And it happens all the time. I mean, we see those your likes are public moments that we feature on this channel all the time, where someone says something about fan service being bad, and then you look at their public Twitter likes, and it's filled with nothing but porn. And it happens all the time like clockwork. And if you want to get a good gauge at how people truly feel about certain tweets, look at the bookmarks. So you'll see a tweet go viral saying fan service bad, or this type of fan service is damaging and harmful, right? And people are all in the replies, all the quotes are saying this is bad, this is disgusting, degenerate. But then you look at the bookmarks, and all of a sudden there's 5,000 bookmarks on this tweet showing apparently disgusting fan service. People are doing that to basically like it in private. Because unlike Twitter likes that are public, bookmarks are private. So when people want to like something without it showing publicly, they bookmark it. So they have a secret little tab for things that they're pretending to complain about. But that happens all the time, and I just think it's funny to see that in situations like this. But this tweet right here says, more people need to think anime is weird. Gatekeep it harder, fellas. And like I said earlier in this video, I think anime does a great job of gatekeeping itself. Anime is weird, and I think it should get even weirder. I think the more weird, the better. And that goes for anything. There's nothing wrong with being weird. There's nothing wrong with being out there in your content and your interests. Keep being weird, because this type of content really kind of gatekeeps itself. And we've seen this happen a lot more in the past, where there was a lot of ecchi shows like this getting popular on certain places like YouTube, whether it's people reacting to it or talking about it. And it kind of just kept people away. And honestly, propping up these shows and just saying, yeah, it is weird, and it's exactly what people want, is a good way to deter people. Because you can complain about it being degenerate all you want, but if people are going to consume it, their words have no value other than collecting Twitter likes. Here's another one saying, the people who think it's weird are the same people who think Big Mouth is normal. There's a very, very observable pattern of people who attack anime, call it weird and degenerate, all these things, but do not do the same for Western cartoons and alike. And I've seen people on places like Twitter, I've made videos about this before, where they will call anime degenerates and harmful and all these things. And then you look at their profile and they're South Park stans. And it just makes absolutely no sense. It is literally impossible for those two things to exist at the same time. To be an anti when it comes to anime, but a supporter of something like South Park. It's a complete paradox. But it happens all of the time. And for some reason, Japanese content, anime and manga, gets demonized. And honestly, people start raising things like xenophobia. It must be the product of that. And honestly, yeah, I mean, what else could it be at that point? If you're going to demonize content that's Japanese, but the Western counterparts are completely left alone, what else is going on other than that, right? But here's another one from Nicholas Light saying, this is what my dad thinks anime is. I mean, it's whatever you're consuming. The classic walk-in moment where, you know, you're watching an episode that's only 5% fan service, but the one time your parents or your siblings or whoever walk in, it's always that fan service moment. You know, that's just the way it is. Sometimes you get got, you know, but yeah, that's a pretty relatable tweet. I mean, if it was for me, it'd be just a slice of life anime. I'm a slice of life connoisseur, to say the least. And here's one more saying in quotes, oh hey, a new ecchi anime. Starts watching an anime that is obviously an ecchi. Oh my god, why is anime so weird? God, people like you are stupid. So this is a real phenomenon that happens a lot on Twitter, where people intentionally consume ecchi anime series that are broadcasted and promoted as ecchi series they consume it, and then they turn around and demonize it for having fan service. It makes absolutely no sense. A great example is My Dress Up Darling. The entire plot is just revolving around fan service, and people will consume the entire series and even claim they're fans of the show while also saying the fan service is terrible and that it ruined the show for them. And it's a complete paradox once again. But yeah, if you're going to consume something that you already have stated you don't like, you shouldn't be surprised when you don't like it. It's like going to McDonald's and being shocked that they sell burgers and fries. Like, it makes no sense. But that's going to do it for this video. I know it's a little bit of a rant all over the place, but it's really just a good conversation opener for topics like gatekeeping and really just the weirdness of anime. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video, so feel free to share all of your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.